Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of the Free Exchange of Ideas. So today I want to talk to you about a little bit about magic. Not real magic, but the magic of watch what the right hand's doing while the left hand is screwing you in the ass. What are we not seeing? What are they showing us? And what is the difference? They've released, our government, has released a bunch of videos and reports about aliens, alien craft, or UAPs that they call them, unidentified flying phenomenon. Let's see, they released a little bit about Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. They're kind of working that angle, but not real solid. If you want real solid information, it's going to come later after the election, I'm willing to bet. Nothing's really going to happen now. Let's see, what else? In California, they're really hammering that this is now fire season. Although we've got more rain, therefore more water, than we've had in, probably 7 or 8 years. But they're not talking about the fact that they have not maintained our dams or even rebuilt some of the dams of the reservoirs that they've emptied. Where I live, Anderson and Coyote reservoirs are empty. Coyote's not quite empty, but Anderson is a trickle down the middle, and it's not going anywhere. They're both earthen dams. Our governor had promised us money and put it out so that Anderson Dam could be repaired, and then yanked it back. So it went from a 10-year repair job to a 30-year repair job. But they're not talking about that, not even in our local news, which is amazing to me because that water could help stave off some of the real possible forest fires, because we had great growth over this last winter. Great growth. I wish I could show you what I have out here. It's like 4-foot tall weeds, and it's starting to go brown. Why is it starting to go brown? Because it's summertime, and that's what it does in California. That's why they call it the Golden State, because it looks like that from the sky. It's all brown. It's gross. That's not why they call it the Golden State. That's just a joke. Nonetheless, so they're going to allow, our state government is going to allow forest fires to occur because they don't know what else to do. We must be in a constant state of readiness, a constant state of danger, so that they can justify stealing money from us every month. Do you know in California, our gas tax is almost $1.50? The tax alone, almost $1.50. That is 3 times the next highest state. That's insane. And we're still buying it. We're still buying that. $1.05 or $1.50. It's still stupid high. We go through different blends from summer to winter because that's how we make money. Our gasoline got up to almost $7 a gallon for almost a year during the pandemic. Now, during that period, everybody's complaining about how expensive it is in California because it's still, at that point, I think it was still $3 higher than any place else in the nation except possibly Hawaii or Alaska. No, not Alaska, because they get their own oil. But yeah, $2.50, $3 more than any place else in the United States. And everybody's complaining, the government's complaining, oh, they're gouging us, blah, blah, blah. They finally passed a law earlier this year, the anti-gouging law for fuel companies, oil companies. It's like, wait a minute. I think you waited 2.5 or 3 years to make that law so that you could get all the taxes from that expensive gasoline and rape us again. But you're not hearing that story on the news. Let's see, what's another good story you're not really hearing on the news? The forest fires in Canada, all you're hearing is that, the smoke is rolling over the northern United States, northeastern United States. Yeah, that's what wind does with smoke. There's nothing that they can really do. Those forest fires, those forests are huge. I mean, they make our forest Yosemite is a great forest. the forests in Canada make that look like a grove. It's just so big that they can't do anything about it. They're doing everything that they can, and they just can't get a handle on it. And we have sent tons of forest fire workers up there to help, sending people and equipment and whatever up there to help. And they're out of their depth. It's not their fault. It's just that's what Canada is. And so, but you're not really hearing too much about the actual fires or how hard Canadian firefighters are fighting, or how many firefighters have lost their lives because of these fires. You're not hearing any of that. Only that, oh, we're getting a lot of smoke down here. I remember in California, when California was on fire, Northern California was on fire, and all the smoke came down here, and it looked like a Mars movie set. It was just red skies. None of the colors matched what you expect to see because of that. Well, yeah, that happens when you set, millions of acres on fire. This is just what happens. The wind draws it down this way or pushes it down this way. At any rate, you're not really hearing about those Canadian fires so much as just the smoke coming into the United States. Climate change is another big story that you hear fairly regularly. That's a teaser story. Climate change, while climate change may be real, I am not saying it is or is not. If it is real, we're not making it. The world does this once in a while. It just shakes off the fleas. Well, get ready to be shooken off. But we're not causing it per se. We've already fixed the hole in the ozone. Our cars get so much better economy in fuel than they did in the 70s that there's almost literally, outside of major cities, almost literally no smog to speak of. China, that's another story. China, India, that's another story. But you're not even hearing about them or their level of contribution to the climate change. Let me do that. So yeah, if you need to make a comment about that, go ahead. Won't hurt my feelings. I won't pay that much attention to you. I probably won't respond. At least there's that, right? Let's see, what's another good story that you're not really hearing about? You're not hearing anything about Hillary Clinton anymore. Why is that? You're hearing about the FBI a little bit, and there's a little Clinton tossed in there, kind of like to salt the steak, but that's about it. And so what that's telling me is that we're not going to go back to that. She's never going to get burned for damaging or destroying government property. She's never going to get burned for having that personal server in her home, which she destroyed. And she's never going to get burned for any of that. Nope, not going to happen. She's too powerful. Jeffrey Epstein. We kind of hear about his death. Just recently we heard about it. And it was like a story and gone. What are they hiding from us when they give us little tidbits like that? What's the big story they're hiding? Do a little research. You will find some frightening things. The deep state is a real thing. I don't know how real, and I'm not sure how much power they have, because I just listened to a podcast this morning. The guy is absolutely a conspiracy theorist, but he talks about how the Republicans are taking over in the House, and that they're getting things done, or at least trying to get things done. And he says, but the deep state won't let it happen, or the deep state's running scared. He runs back and forth on both of those. But if there was truly a deep state, I think we'd see more Clinton-like suicides in the House, maybe in the Supreme Court, or maybe they think they're just tidbits for us to chew on, that we won't go any further. We won't follow the money. George Soros is giving his empire to his 38-year-old son. George Soros is like 90. He had that kid when he was old already. And so that's not his oldest child, I don't think. But he's given the entire empire to this 38-year-old. He wants to retire. I don't know what a 90-year-old does in retirement. Although maybe sleep a lot, but prepare for death. I'm not really certain. So do a little research. Find some of the stories that you want to hear about that will give you the information you truly want. All right? And then follow through. Just watch what you can do when you look, when you search, when you find things. A really good story. I'm just going to give you this one, and then I'm going to let it go. Our governor of the state of California, Mr. Gavin Newsom, who's going to be president if Joe Biden wins. Trust me on this one. Kamala's not going to be she's not going to be a placeholder after the election. At any rate, he literally stole $1 billion to buy Chinese PPE at the beginning of the pandemic because he did not want to be beholden to Trump through the U.S. government, through the federal government, because the federal government was feeding everybody PPE. He wanted to just cut ties with the Fed, and so he bought where he could only get that much PPE from China. Now the funny thing is, they promised to get us whatever amount he bought for that $1 billion within a certain period of time, and they missed 2 different deadlines. And then when we finally did get that PPE, he had it in a warehouse. It had to go through, or the federal government had stopped it at the port, and they tested it, covered in COVID. How'd that happen? Came from China, covered in COVID, $1 billion down the drain. Now, when our state House and Senate learned of this buy-in for Chinese PPE, they said, wait a minute, where'd you get the money? He goes, oh, I just got it from the coffers right over here, where we keep that kind of money. And they said, but you had to go through us to get that level of cash. He goes, no, it's an emergency. It's a state emergency, so I have all kinds of powers, and I just did it. And they were like, well, now, we don't like that so much. You know what they did? Nothing. They made a little bit of noise. The story went away because Gavin Newsom is going to be president. Watch. You won't hear that story anywhere. As a matter of fact, I had to look it up and find it, and I'll put the link in the description box down below just so you can follow it if you feel like it. I found that in the bigger YouTube channels that can follow these kind of things, they get like a 20% will look at the link, and maybe maybe a total of that 20%, maybe 5% of that 20% will actually follow the link and read the whole article. It's pretty low. So I don't expect you to do anything, but I expect you to do something that you want to know about. Follow that money. I'm telling you, the money's there, the line is there, you can follow it. It's not rocket surgery. You'll be able to get the information. Do the thing. Be the man that you think you want to save you. Be that guy. Be that girl. Sorry about that. Do the things that you think we need to do as a nation to save ourselves. Period. But you have to step up to the plate. That's what I'm doing here with this. I'm stepping up to the plate to the best of my ability. I'm an old man. I'm not young anymore. I can't chase people down. Matter of fact, I don't run. That's why I carry a gun. Anyway, y'all have a great day. Remember, even fluffy bunnies have teeth and claws for a reason. Live long, fight hard, win the damn day.